Well, good morning, everyone. It is April 6, 2023. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time, 8 o'clock Central, to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and to support each of you. We recently had discussed a different approach to closing leads, whereby we would offer to do that for you. We rolled that out recently and we've had outstanding success. If my memory's correct, yesterday we worked on 32 of your leads collectively, and we closed 28 of the 32. So our goal is to close around 90% of your leads, and that's about what we're seeing. So let's go ahead and revisit this topic. It may be redundant for some of you, but even if so, you can seek to either replicate this yourself if you prefer, or allow us to close your deals, and there's no cost or no reduction in comp. So our topic today is how we can close your leads to help you increase your closing percentage. Because if you close more deals, of course, you make more money. We'll show you how to do this. There's no selling involved on your part, no cost to you, and certainly greater income. As we typically like to do, we want to start with building a good foundation about what we do. We, meaning you and I as technical advisors, talk about our target audience and then get into the topic. So let's go ahead and review what it is that you and I do. So we're technical advisors. We help small business owners and individuals to some extent improve their credibility to qualify for financing, whether it be business loans, auto financing, mortgages, etc. Because what you and I know, a lot of people want money, but it's not just wanting money or even needing money. It's about, do we qualify for it? Well, how do we go about helping people qualify for financing? Well, you and I use what's called the Credit and Funding Program. It guarantees anyone at least $100,000 capital raise, and that can be kind of outlandish, right? Is that too good to be true? How in the world can we promise anyone a minimum of $100,000? Well, it's because what we do is we help them improve their credibility. Well, what does that mean? We're going to help them improve their 3 C's: credit, collateral, capacity. I've told you this before, but I'm not blowing smoke. My son, my youngest son, is in 7th grade. Last night, brought homework home. Financial literacy is a topic that they're learning in math. And so he's learning about the 3 C's in 7th grade. But somehow you and I live in a society where there's a lot of people that don't understand this. And that's what you and I can do, is we can improve their financial literacy, we can help them improve their credibility, and we can help anyone qualify for a minimum of $100,000 by being creditworthy enough, having the adequate collateral and adequate capacity. We don't need to screen people on their starting point. That's the biggest indicator for us when we have a distribution partner that doesn't really understand what we do. When they start asking qualification questions like, well, what's the minimum credit score they need to enroll? There is no minimum. The Credit and Funding Program helps them if they have a credit deficiency. Well, what's the minimum amount of time in business for the Credit and Funding Program? There is none. What's the minimum amount of cash flow or capacity? There is none. We take people where they are, work with them to get them where they need to be to get at least $100,000. Our process is proven, it's legal, it's effective. And again, the only people that you'll have that question, is this legitimate, are people that have a lack of financial literacy. Either they don't understand how finance works, or they don't understand what you and I actually do, which is we help people improve their credibility to qualify for financing, guaranteeing a minimum of $100,000. And the way that that's possible is we help them build their 3 C's. Make sense? Okay. So that's what we do. It's important that we start with that foundation. And the question next is, well, who is it that we work with? And then ultimately we'll get back to our topic of the day. So who is it that we work with? Well, we're looking for imperfect people Now, we have, I told you about the client in Mississippi. He's got one leg, one eye. We're not talking about physically imperfect people. We're talking about that their credibility isn't where it needs to be for them to go out and get their own funding, right? Because if you have someone that's so creditworthy and so solid in collateral and capacity, the truth is they probably don't need the credit and funding program. The truth is they could probably just go down to their bank or credit union and apply and get the $100,000 on their own. Now, in some cases, they don't have the loan package, the business plan, the financial projections, which we help them with for free as well. But in general, your and my target audience are the individuals that are imperfect. What do we mean by that? They have money problems, they have credit problems, or they have a lack of collateral, because that's the value that you and I bring, right? If you and I owned an auto shop, and so we repaired cars, we repaired vehicles, well, is our target market the people that just bought the new Mercedes S-Class? No, it's the people that don't have the new cars, the individuals that have vehicles that have issues. Maybe they need a new muffler, they need new brakes, they need new fan belt. So that's our target audience, and that's okay. So it's like, well, are you preying on people? Well, of course not. Do auto repair shops prey on people with older or less than perfect vehicles? No, they're providing a solution to a problem. Their cars aren't running as well as they should or could or need to be, and they fix them. What do you and I do? We fix people's 3 C's, legally and ethically. Tremendous opportunity. And this is an area of the marketplace that most others ignore, right? Most people in the finance space want to screen out people, and people with shitty credit, they say, no, go away. We say, welcome, come in, we'll help you. People that have inadequate capacity or inadequate collateral, the rest of the finance world in general tells them no, you and I tell them yes. Tremendous difference. It's called a contrarian approach. Okay, but our topic today is about closing more leads. So let's go ahead and talk about this. And this is exactly the same discussion we had before, so that there's no changes. It's just to reiterate it or introduce it to those of you that weren't on training before. So what we're doing is presenting a very simple process to close more deals, and it's working. It's absolutely working. So the first thing is, if you wanted to use this process, again, we're not trying to sell anything, didn't cost anything, but the first thing you have to do is change your mindset of what your role is. Be a facilitator, don't be a salesperson. Be a facilitator. And what does that mean practically? Well, you have to generate prospects, and that's not the focus of today's conversation. We've had other trainings on that. We can have more if you'd like. But you drive your prospects to your free landing page. We've provided each of you, or we've offered to provide each of you, a free landing page. A free landing page. You don't have to pay anything for it. Free landing page. So that's where you want to drive people to. On your free landing page, there is a lead capture form, and ask for 4 pieces of information. That's it. First name, last name, phone number, email. If they're not willing to provide those 4 fields of information, then they're not a serious lead. Well, what do you have to tell them to get them to do that? You shouldn't have to tell them anything. You drive them to your landing page, and the landing page provides them the information so they want to move forward. It has a little short video to give them an overview if they want to see and hear versus read. It provides an outline of how the program works and our focus on the 3 C's. So the landing page should be enough for most people to get them to complete the lead capture form. Now, what you could certainly do is egg them on a little bit, be on the phone with them or be with them and actually help them put in their first name, last name, phone number, and email if you want. But we need to get them into the lead capture form. Now they're a prospect. Now they're in the queue. And then from there, help them schedule a funding interview. We've created a specific link to schedule funding interviews. So you might say, well, how am I going to go about doing that? What would I say? Well, that's exactly what we provided here. So what you would say is, let's say that I'm talking to Dan's on the webinar this morning. And so Dan's a hypothetical prospect looking for capital. Somehow he's become a lead of mine. And so obviously we have to generate the lead before we can move him forward in the process. But I posted on Craigslist, or I bought some leads, or I did a workshop. However, I went about generating awareness with Dan, or maybe he was referred to me by a CPA or banker or what have you. I'd say, well, Dan, let's go ahead and schedule a call for you with one of our funding advisors. The benefit of that to you, Dan, is that you'll find out if you qualify for our grant subsidized program. And also, Dan will find out how much funding you qualify for now. And then, as the instructions say, stop talking and just get them scheduled. There's really two ways to do that. You can give them the link. Well, what's the link? Right there's the link. Or you could go ahead and schedule it for them. Once they're scheduled, then they're going to start receiving touches. And each touch should generate greater awareness and familiarity with our credit and funding program. So they're going to receive 5 automated reminders. They'll receive an email reminder once they've scheduled, 24 hours before the scheduled time, and 1 hour before the scheduled time. Additionally, they're going to receive text reminders once when they schedule, and another 1 hour prior. So we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 touches leading up to the funding interview. Of course, they entered the system earlier through the lead capture form, and then we have the funding interview. So we've now, by the time they've made it to the funding interview, they've had 7 touches, as we say. That dramatically increases our closing percentage. Now, during the funding interview, myself or one of our other funding advisors will call them at the scheduled time. And what we're going to do is answer their questions, but we're going to offer at least to help them enroll while they're on the phone. And most people will do that. Not all, but most people will do that. We don't hard close them. We don't pressure them, but we understand what they're wanting to do. We explain how we help them, and most people will enroll. So what's that mean economically to you? Well, this is not get rich quick. So we need to dispel that. But our affiliate program pays you $100, kind of a bonus for each person that enrolls, as well as 3 points off their capital raise. So let's just round that off and say you're going to make about $3,000 for referring each person in. Our typical affiliates will, we have some affiliates that are, hitting it out of the ballpark, but that's the outlier. Our typical affiliates are doing 1 to 2 deals a week. So an extra $3,000 to $6,000 a week. If we can help 2 people a week, which is our point here, that's 3,000 times 2, that's 6,000, 4 weeks in the month. That puts us at 24,000. That's really our goal for our typical affiliate, is to help them generate an extra 24,000 a month. Is that life-changing? Probably not for most of you, but it's not a bad part-time gig, right? There's a lot of people that don't make 24,000 a month at their full-time job. And as an affiliate, just with 2 deals a week, that you don't have to sell anyone anything. You don't have to buy in, you don't have to pay anything. And as an affiliate, frankly, there is no minimum production. You could refer in no one, but of course, 0 times 3,000 is how much you would make. That's 0, of course. So the bottom line is our credit and funding program is legal, it's effective. What we do is we help participants improve their credibility, their 3 C's. We also help them build a loan package so they qualify for a minimum of $100,000 in funding. It's a great way for you to earn an adult income by helping others get what they want, typically money to start or grow a business. So, and our contact information's on here, of course. So who has questions, comments, concerns on the process? Let me make this just a bit smaller. There we go. So the key is understanding the process. Who has questions about the process? All right, so Timothy's asking, what's the end goal? That's a good approach, Timothy. So the end goal is to help clients get enrolled in the credit and funding program, because by doing so, Timothy, we can improve their financial literacy. We can provide them access to capital, and that happens by improving their 3 C's. That's the end goal. Now, what's the benefit to you of that? You generate a great side gig, right? As an affiliate, you're making around $3,000 a pop. As a white label partner, I can't state what your earnings will be because you control what the front end cost is to the client. You control what the participation fee is on the back end. But I can tell you it's working. And so if you don't have leads, frankly, this doesn't matter. But if you have leads that you're not effective in closing, this is a great approach. And you could have leads that are maybe older leads that you could still go back and introduce to. But the key, and this is what Sarah's bringing up, is you definitely want to first put the prospect in on your landing page. Because when you put them in your landing page, it links that lead to you. Because frankly, when they're scheduling through us, this doesn't have a tracking mechanism. But it doesn't need to have a tracking mechanism because the lead's already in the system, what we call a CRM, because you first made sure that they entered in through your landing page. So the truth is you could be hands-on or not hands-on with this. What do I mean? Well, if you wanted to help them fill out their 4 fields on the lead capture form and then help them schedule a call, that would be one end of the spectrum. The other would be you just market your landing page. You don't talk to anyone. Once they fill out the lead capture form, the system emails you, and then you could just simply email them back or text them, whatever you prefer, and just send them a message and suggest that they do this using some subset of this language if you want. So it's up to you. You could be high touch or no touch. We've told you many times, our record holder for 1 month in one 30-day period, Jeff enrolled 400 people, and he talked to none of them. He just simply used the tools. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but the tools are available. All right, so Alfred's asking, as a white label partner, what does this mean to him? Well, as a white label partner, you should be closing your deals. What you probably should consider, and we can work with you on this, Alfred, is replicating this system for you. So you're doing the same thing. Or if any of you decide that you'd rather not be a white label partner and you'd rather be an affiliate, then again, get with us and we can talk about transferring you. All right, James is asking about the white label partner role. So the white label partner role, we're still using the same resource, the credit and funding program. We're still making the same guarantee. We're still following the same process. It's just our white label partners are more involved. They're controlling the pricing, they're controlling the terms, they're controlling the client engagement normally. Now, our white label partners have some further expectations. After initial 30-day grace period, they should be helping at least 8 clients a month, 2 a week. And if not, then we have a problem because that's not what they promised to do. So white label partners do have an earning expectation. White label partners should be earning $100,000 a month. White label partners should be helping 2 clients a week, 8 a month. If they're not earning that $100,000, if they're not helping at least 2 a week, then we have a problem and we need to figure out what the problem is. But that's probably a different discussion. But if we have a white label partner that doesn't follow through, then we terminate it's called a license agreement. It's not a franchise, it's a license agreement. And so it doesn't cost anything to get set up under the white label partner license. There's expectations from both parties, us and them. And then if they don't participate or do their part, then we terminate that white label partner license agreement. And that is always sorrowful for us when we have to do that. And so we don't want that to happen. Okay, so who has questions on how we can help you close more deals? Or alternatively, if you're a white label partner, how you might want to replicate something similar to this. Let's take Bernard, for example. Bernard's one of our top white label partners. He has referral people, we'll say. I don't want to redundantly use the term. So Bernard has people that refer to him. Well, he could set up a very similar approach. He could set up a Calendly or something similar where the people that are referring him as a white label partner to that link, and then he could follow and set up a similar structure. And there's no reason that each of you can't close around 90% of your deals. Any questions, comments, concerns that anyone has today? All right, Tony's asking what happens when a white label partner defaults, or in other words, doesn't perform. Well, we notify them, we attempt to resolve that, but Tony, if they don't do what they promised to do, then there is a license fee owed, right? Because the deal is we'll perpetually defer the license fee for white label partners as long as they're active, they participate. And if they don't, then that license fee comes due. We can offer them an extension. In other words, if they want us to reset the grace period, give them another 30 days to kind of get their process in order so we can further train and support them. We can do that with just a partial payment of the license fee. But if they do nothing, then that's a default. And when we have a defaulted white label partner, then we could either, I guess, we'd ask them to pay the license fee that they promised to pay. And if they don't, then they could go to collections or litigation, or we sell. Like we sold 2 white label partner licenses just this morning, in fact. So we just get rid of them. To mitigate our risk, we sell them for pennies on the dollar, and then someone else deals with that defaulted white label partner. It's the whole concept of debt buying and debt selling. Okay, anyone have any questions on the topic today, which was not that, how to close more leads, understanding what we do, who our targeted audience is, and the process that is proven to be effective. All right, Hector's asking about use of funds. And so we work with the client, Hector, to identify what their capital raise goals are, and typically that is incorporated into their business plan. We provide them at no cost a software whereby we can help them, cloud-based software, to build their business plan, financial projections, and also to identify the amount of capital they need and uses of funds. Hector's question, just for everyone's benefit, really wasn't all that, but it was about how can that $100,000 be used? Well, the client tells us how they want to use the $100,000. Does that impact the funding plan? Yeah, it could. If they want $100,000 to buy real estate versus to buy a company vehicle versus working capital, so forth. Sure. Yeah. So what the amount of money and the uses of funds will alter the funding plan. But I think Hector's overwhelming question is, do they have to use the money for certain things? And the answer is no. They tell us what they want to use the money for, and then the funding plan is developed and executed based upon their desired use of funds. So it could be to start a business, it could be to grow a business, or as we've talked about, it could be for other reasons. It could be to just go buy a car for their family, or go buy a house for their family, or it could be to buy rental properties. It could be, to start or grow a business. Those aren't restrictions, but it does matter, and that is incorporated into the loan package that we build out for them for free. Any other questions, comments, concerns on us helping you close more leads? What this does, and I think this is essentially what Dan is getting to, is this makes it simpler for you all, right? So as long as you can generate leads and drive those leads to your landing page, and then ideally help them get scheduled for a funding review, it makes it really simple. You don't need to explain the program to anyone. You don't need to close or sell anyone on anything. You're just going to create awareness, drive them to your landing page, and then help them get scheduled for a funding interview. Super simple. All right. And sure, if that's what Sarah's asking, can you go through it yourself? Well, sure. Go through the same process yourself if you'd like that. That's perfectly fine. The best training is experiential learning, where you actually do it yourself. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Have a good day. Bye.